Okay, so may I have a motion to return from executive session?
Make a motion?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And no decisions were made. So I have on the agenda public comment on the resolutions only. So if you'd like to speak about the resolutions, any of those that we have before us, please join us at the podium and just state your name and address.
Are these those resolutions?
Yeah, come, so yeah, feel free to come up, yes. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Okay.
I just wanted to come and thank the town board, and specifically Richard Logendike, the deputy building inspector, for your efforts and his efforts in trying to bring the property at 563 North Quaker Lane back into compliance with town code. I live on the property adjoining that property. Thank you, appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out and telling us that. It's
Did hear
helpful.
that.
We want,
Yeah.
that's why we're doing it. So thank you.
And your name, please?
My name is Rolf Peterson.
Okay.
I
All
live
right.
at 4 Quaker Hill Drive, which is in development. I pass the aforementioned dump every day.
Well, we're taking the first actions to rectify that
Yes,
tonight.
thank you.
Actually, we've already taken it by sending Rich out, so I'm glad. He's a great guy and he's been
Yeah.
helpful, so we're lucky to have him. So good.
Now, I'm just curious.
Do you also work with the Board of Health?
No, that's a separate.
That's a
county.
separate,
That's
okay, because
county.
when I came to the town, they said, file with us because of the trash, file with the Board of Health because of the household garbage.
Yes,
And so I did both, and even the Board of Health has been out and taken pictures.
excellent.
So I guess the question is when we get to June, if you say, hey, this hasn't been cleaned up, we're cleaning up, are you cleaning everything? Or
You know,
just the trash and leaving the garbage for
We're
the rats?
Well, we'll work with Rich on that, okay?
Oh,
So we'll
okay,
keep
yeah.
you- we'll keep you informed.
Because
but-
I didn't know if the health department hadn't been informed of what's going on, I'll call them and tell them what the town's doing,
Sure.
you know, and let them know.
But, you know, we'll have to kind of go through that with Rich, but we have the
Okay.
photos here, and it looks like most likely what will happen is that we will get a dumpster, and it looks to me that we'll be throwing...
I'd send in a hazmat team if I were you.
Whoops. All right, well, that may be the
Is there
hard part.
Is there household garbage there too?
There's household garbage, and not to make any accusations, but I wouldn't be surprised that there's human waste as part of that garbage. And I would also be very careful of any kind of, let's say, drug paraphernalia and stuff like that, that somebody could get injured cleaning it up. So,
Yeah, it's just amazing.
The one on, was it Mansion, the one that had the bags of diapers and,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you should see how nice it looks
I
now.
know, it does.
It's really
I know.
sweet, yeah, so let's hope the same can be achieved here.
Right, but I mean, I think bags of garbage
Yeah.
are within the purview of the property maintenance.
Yep,
Right, yeah.
I think so.
84.
Okay, well, more on that later then. So I just wanted to update the board on a number of things that we're working on, and we've just had kind of a long executive session, so I won't keep you, I won't labor the points, but I just wanted everyone to be aware that we are updating the website, and Joe has been working with myself and some fantastic volunteers, and it's a very time-consuming and laborious process, but we met with each department head, and we are revising the pages as we see fit, and going through various processes on developing a color palette and a marketing plan. And so the website should really be up and running in October, and you know, Howie and I work together, and Tad, and really coming up with it's going to be a gorgeous project. So I'm excited about that. And after 3 years, we have at least 3 years coming to the end of the road with updating our war memorial plaque.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Yeah,
to
thank you,
David
Dave.
Ray.
Thank you.
And,
Pushing.
and our former town historian Barbara Hobens, and my invincible secretary, Caroline Miller, who really pushed that project forward, and
Put a
so
lot of
we'll
work
be unveiling that on Memorial Day. And I just,
About Memorial Day, what's the time on
so
on
it's
that?
10 a.m.
Yeah.
for the parade, and then we're having a ceremony right thereafter
Yep.
here with Micah Thanis is in charge of that. And Joe, you're working with the school district on the placement of these, it's a new project, right, on the, with the flags? Do
yeah.
you want to kind of give an update on that?
Yeah, they're going to be having a memorial flags on, right in front of Roosevelt there. And right now, I believe you can still purchase, or is it past due now?
I think you can still get
Yeah, you
them.
can
You can still
purchase a
purchase
flag and-
flags, yes. And that's going to be from Saturday morning through Memorial Day, and at 1:30 at the Rose.
The Rose Garden.
Rose Garden ceremony, they're going to have the conclusion of that with speakers, and I think Aileen might be there. right?
Yep, I'll be there for sure, yep.
And,
then they also lay the wreath
Yes.
at 3 p.m., right,
Okay, yes,
at the
yeah.
Rose Garden.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of a nice project, and it's a fundraiser for the school district, is that right?
Yes, fundraiser for the school district. The foundation's running that.
Did you hear about the flyover? They still considering that?
Yes, they, for the Saturday morning.
That'll be
right,
neat.
Yeah, the flyover as they do the opening ceremony.
The old
Oh,
Rhinebeck
nice.
Airfield,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
that'd be
cool.
exciting.
Good.
On Memorial Day morning also, I think at 8 a.m. in Statsburg, there's a memorial ceremony.
Is that
at
at
the
8?
I believe it's 8, yeah, it's earlier than I think every time. I'm pretty sure it's 8, yeah. Right, and so Dave let me know today that the people who are on the plaque in Statsburg are now also going to be added to our plaque here
Great.
at Town Hall. So that'll be nice to complete all the
It
Hyde
will.
Park residents
I
that belong
really
on
hope
there.
it is.
Well,
gosh.
I'm sure it isn't, but a few
No,
more years.
Dave, don't
for it.
say that. Okay, and so, yeah, so let's keep our fingers crossed for nice weather
Nice
on
weather.
Memorial Day. So we've had a number of issues regarding the bridges over the railroad tracks, and I've been in contact with a really nice gentleman from Amtrak, and I know Warren has been working on one that we, basically these were structures that were built back in the 20s or even earlier, and in Hyde Park, they provide the primary access, river access, not that it's public, but really, except for Poughkeepsie Yacht Club, it's basically the only way to get to the river. We have had a couple that are having issues in terms of their condition, and so I finally have come to an understanding about the ownership of the railroad tracks. I consider this a very major achievement. Do you even know what it is?
No.
Wow. Okay.
CSX?
So, yeah, Congress passed a law that requires all rail services under 750 miles to be funded by the states. So that was back in 2008, and it came into effect in 2013. So that's why, and I was kind of curious, why I've talked to DOT people about these bridges. Didn't really make sense, but that's why, because New York State funds them.
Wow.
And so then, so they fund the tracks, then CSX owns the tracks,
Right.
but Amtrak leases the tracks.
Yep.
And their only responsibility, as far as they are concerned, is for the maintenance of the bridges to assure that their tracks are not impacted.
So
Okay?
that they don't fall on
So
the
that they
track.
don't
Curious
fall,
about
they
the
have
cars.
They
no,
don't care about the
they
traffic.
have no other, they're adamant, they have no other responsibility in terms of inspecting, which we've had an issue with an applicant who believed that that CSX was responsible for maintaining it, and they were adamant that's not true. They also did agree, though, that it's a continuing problem, not just for Hyde Park, but really throughout New York State. So the gentleman from Amtrak is suggested that we set up a meeting with our Senator Serino and DOT and really try to come up with at least a plan for how you can maintain these bridges if you don't own them. So that's something that we're
Oh,
going to
okay.
be working on.
How many do we have, do you know?
Well, I mean, there's, one at Rogers Point, there's one in the National Park, there's one at Scenic Hudson, the Scenic Hudson property. There's one in Statsburg,
Yep.
where, at Mills, which we met last year, Emily and I attended a meeting there. So there's those right off the top
So
of
the
my
one in
head.
National Park Service, I thought that would be the National Park Service's bridge, but we don't,
It's, well,
That's
but that's
amazing.
what it is,
it's like nobody's taking ownership of them.
Exactly,
There's
so there,
multiple in Statsburg. There's
Yeah.
the one going into Nori, and then there's that other one that's not
Interesting.
maintained, right?
at the Mills.
Yeah,
At Mills?
right. Well, no, then there's another one.
Oh, is there, in Statsburg, another one besides the one at Mills?
Yeah,
Oh. Yeah.
there's the one that you drive in to go into Nori,
Mhm.
and then there's the one at Mills, but then
Right.
isn't there that other one that's not maintained, that we went to the meeting about?
Yeah, yeah.
Not maintained.
So, I mean, so really in Hyde
And,
Park,
and then
it's,
there's the one at the Locust.
yeah, and the one at the
Yeah.
Locust, right?
There are a
Wow.
lot of them.
So there
Wow.
are, and so, as the Amtrak official said, it's really behooves us to hammer out a policy, at least in terms of figuring out what people can do who need them, because really without them, we would have very little river access.
And at the old Brass Anchor, that's at grade,
That's
right?
an at grade,
That's
and
at grade,
Poughkeepsie
yeah.
Yacht Club's at grade,
At
and,
grade, yeah.
and he pointed out that the Amtrak is really seeking to reduce those.
Sure, yeah.
Or eliminate them.
Yep.
So, and, thinking about it further, it could be something that the town does apply for waterfront revitalization plan, the LWRP, and maybe that would really be
Yeah.
monies that we would apply for if we could find out that we could actually do something. So it's another project.
Another project.
Yeah.
Big one.
So then we have embarked on the highway facilities improvement project, right, Howie? You working there? Doing
Yeah,
that
I've been
good?
noticing that as I've been driving
That's
by.
good.
It looks great.
Yeah, and we're actually going to have a peaked roof, right? It's going to look nice. Good. Yeah. And then we have on one of the resolutions tonight, a electric car charging station application that we've been working with Don Veith, and Pete has really worked hard on getting that application together, so we're ready to submit that. And I just wanted everyone to know that we signed the contract for the lighting project last week or so, and are waiting for the proposal from GPI, and really want to thank our Assemblywoman Dee Dee Barrett for the funding for pedestrian lighting that will go from Commer up to Park Plaza. And so I really would love to get that done this year, although I was told that's probably going to be difficult, but keeping my fingers crossed on that. And then
That funding also just really helped us get the sidewalk project done to begin with,
absolutely,
right?
yeah. The sidewalk
Yeah.
project ended up costing nothing for the taxpayers
Yeah.
because of this funding from Dee Dee Barrett, so, and it really looks nice.
It's been nice to see so many people out
Amazing.
walking there as the
Yeah.
weather's got
Love it,
nice,
love it.
Yeah. And so the TAP B project we're going ahead with, as everyone knows, but Caroline is dutifully working on the reams of paper that need to go back to DOT to make that happen. But we had our first meeting and are working on the design. And there will be a lot of interaction with the property owners on that, and so we've begun that conversation with a number of the property owners, as well as discussing the upcoming sidewalks, but I've also met with a number of the property owners about the sewer project to gauge their support and interest, and that is absolutely there, and so we're moving ahead on that one also. The sake manufacturing, they met with the planning board, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago, and they hope to be submitting May 8th, and I hear the plans are really, really beautiful.
Spectacular.
Yep. And Belfield is moving ahead. They have satisfied a number of conditions on their site plan, and their projected start date is September. We sent an email last week to begin a revision of our emergency management plan, and Howie, you were on that, I hope. And so we're going to be looking to set up, and Ken's going to be the liaison for that, and just updating our emergency management plan that we did back when we first came into office in 2012. And that will be interesting. One of the things that's been suggested is that we do like a mock emergency to see where it has flaws. So that ought to be interesting. And speaking of that, this is not does not fall within the realm of town business, but the Roosevelt District and the Statsburg Fire Department are merging, and
That's wonderful news, yeah.
that's
yeah.
really, and that's, I think that's due to happen July 1st.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's really, they're pretty amazing, the Roosevelt District, in terms of their number of volunteers and their competency.
That's great for Statsburg, because they were really struggling with
Yeah.
an aging volunteer population, so that'll help.
Yeah, for
Break your
sure.
Hyde Park
That
emergency, you can
service
have one
strong.
fire department.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to give people an update on the projects that the Dutchess County Water and Wastewater are doing. And, we had transferred our districts to them a few years back, and it was absolutely the right decision because they have really moved ahead on doing these major capital projects that the town just really would not have been able to take on. So, and Pine Brook, they are replacing the wastewater treatment plant, and it has received all the approvals and will be going out to construction bid shortly.
And they were able to get grants for
they
these,
were,
right? Which is
yeah.
really fantastic for the
Yep,
residents.
they were funded through low-interest loans and grants that they were awarded last year. The Greenfields wastewater treatment plant rehab project is also close to receiving all approvals and should be put out to bid early this summer, with construction over 2019 and ending in 2020. The Greenfields collection system improvement investigation completed last year is now under contract for design. Improvement to the Greenfields sewer wastewater treatment plant and collection system will be funded through low-interest loans and grants as well. And the Pine Brook water system is being evaluated for interconnection to the Hyde Park Regional Water System while seeking low-interest and grant funding, which I think is really great.
That's great.
And I wanted to talk to Jonathan about it, and wondering if they're going to try to pick up Holt Road or some of those other areas. That would be amazing. And Morris Associates is doing a hydraulic evaluation of the Greenbush Violet Avenue water system, which is also really good because we had the issue of the disinfection byproduct. So I'm glad to see that they're approaching it in many facets, because they did achieve the updates at the Poughkeepsie plant, but they are still looking at just the system itself. So that's pretty much the updates for now, and a lot going on.
Thank you.
Yep, okay. So should we move on to the resolutions?
Did we have to do that public
Public
hearing?
Oh, sorry, oh my gosh. So that's why Tad's here. So we have a public hearing on the MS4 permit annual report. So Donna, would you mind reading the
I know.
public hearing notice?
Full house.
Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park will hold a public hearing on the 2017-2018 MS4 permit annual report for the Town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, on Monday, May 24th, 2018, at 7:05 p.m. at the Hyde Park Town Hall, 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York. A copy of the proposed 2017-2018 MS4 annual report is available for review on the Town of Hyde Park website at www.hydeparkny.us or at the office of the town clerk during regular business hours. All persons interested in being heard on this report shall be given the opportunity to do so at said public hearing on May 21st, 2018. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park, dated May 8th, 2018, Hyde Park, New York, Donna McGrogan, Town Clerk.
Okay, would anyone like to make a public comment on the MS4 permit annual report? Okay, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make that motion.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And I just want to ask, make sure that everyone did receive Pete's memo on the electric car
Yes.
charging
Yeah.
stations, because
Yes,
it
great
is,
information.
it is a lot of information.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to go through it all, but yeah, I'm glad everybody has it.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of summarize, the application is to put an electric car charging station outside of Town Hall paid for with grants, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's it.
It's perfect.
Yep.
People
All
pay
right.
when they use it.
The first 2 years are paid for by the grant, and then after 2 years, you have a plan on how to pay for it, and it's basically, as it's been explained to me, is people have an app on their phone,
Okay.
and they must like put money on that, and then they're able to
Neat.
swipe their card and that type of thing. So the chamber gave us a very nice support letter, and Pete's worked hard to put this application together, and thank Don Veith for his help too.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
very
exciting.
much.
All right, so you ready to go on
Yeah,
this?
yep.
Yeah.
Resolution 521-1 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to submit a zero-emission vehicle and infrastructure municipal rebate grant for 2018 application for a charging station.
A second?
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 521-2 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute an intermunicipal cooperation agreement with the town of Poughkeepsie, TUNC, in regards to paving and blacktop services.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much, Howie, for
Thanks,
putting
Howie.
that deal together. I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't think we got to discuss it at a town board meeting, but basically Poughkeepsie, town of Poughkeepsie was paving School Street?
School Street, yeah.
Which is like mostly in the town of Poughkeepsie, but partly in the town of Hyde Park. And you made contact with them and quickly came up with an arrangement where they would complete the road and do the Hyde Park portion, and we just had to pay for the asphalt, right?
At a much lower rate than we did, but
Right, so what a great deal, and much better to not have a road only partly done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for being on top of that.
Mark Pfeiffer was really good to work with.
Great.
That's great.
Great.
Thanks, Howie.
Resolution 521-3 of 2018, resolution authorizing commencement of administrative remedies pursuant to Town Code 84-6 with regards to 563 North Quaker Lane, Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
So
Need
did
a roll call?
this set a public hearing, is that what happens
Yeah, we
next?
have to,
Yeah, June 18th. There'll be a public hearing on that, and then.
Oh, I didn't realize that for this one, we have for,
Gotta do a roll call on this.
Quaker.
Roll call on that,
oh,
right?
for Quaker.
Violation.
Yes.
yeah.
I'm sorry? We're good?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Okay.
Or do we have to do a roll?
Wait, no, we can do a roll call.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay, Councilwoman Svensson.
Aye.
Councilman Ray.
Aye.
Councilman Marine.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
So when are we doing the public hearing on this?
June 14th?
It's on the
18th.
resolution.
It says on
Yeah,
the
June
resolution.
18th.
It's the,
And that's for Quaker,
Yes,
June
at 7:05.
North Quaker Lane.
Okay.
And I think you already
Do you have the
sent that.
notice? Did you get it?
I think you sent that, yes.
Okay, so you can fill in, okay.
Yes.
So you don't need anything else from me?
No,
Okay.
So we're all set with Quaker?
All right,
Yes.
just want to make sure you got the,
Resolution 521-4 of 2018, resolution approving New York State Department of Environmental Conservation 2017-2018 MS4 permit annual report.
And
Se-
second?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 521-5 of 2018, resolution authorizing zoning administrator to attend MS4 stormwater management officer training.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 521-6 of 2018, resolution approving a request from the Culinary Institute of America to conduct fireworks display.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 521-7 of 2018, standard workday and reporting resolution as required by the New York State Comptroller.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 521-8 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign an agreement with Bright Days Day Camp for the use of the Hackett Hill Pool.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 521-9 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute agreement with Delaware Engineering to provide support services for activities related to funding streams for planning, engineering, and construction of the wastewater treatment system for the town center, essentially to help us get some grants.
Aye. Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 521-10 of 2018, Resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute an agreement with the County of Dutchess to provide coordinated driving while intoxicated checkpoints in designated areas.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 521-11 of 2018, resolution authorizing the replacement of the police court facilities Sally Port overhead doors.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 521-12 of 2018, resolution approving the issuance of a hawking and peddler's license to the Rolling Bakery.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 52113 of 2018, resolution authorizing the release of the balance of escrow from the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board according to Resolution 18D.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 521-14 of 2018, a resolution authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, the issuance of $435,000 in bonds of the Town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, to pay the cost of the reconstruction of various roads throughout and in and for said town.
Second?
And
Roll call.
roll call for this, please.
Councilwoman Svensson.
Aye.
Councilman Ray.
Aye.
Councilman Marine.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Supervisor Rohr.
Aye. And just to be clear, that this allows us to borrow up to that amount, but it's not certain that we will. We are just completing our 2018 audit, so depending on how the results of our fund balance, some of that may be funded that way. So that would be good.
Yep.
Resolution 521-15 of 2018, resolution commencing the local law adoption process for local law C of the year 2018 entitled A Local Law to Amend Chapter 108 of the Town Code with regard to the regulation of signs.
Second.
So this is a law that's long been in the making. We've been thinking about it and looking at it in various forms over the last year or so. And Warren, you could speak to the issue of the rationale in making the language neutral. Is that the kind of the thought? And
We tried to, there have been some recent, a recent U.S. Supreme Court decision, and there have been New York State decisions that are in accord about making sure that sign laws are content neutral, don't unconstitutionally violate the rights of property owners. It's a very confusing decision from the Supreme Court, and we've been, a lot of municipalities are trying to grapple with that and taking a look at their sign codes to see if they can remove some of the provisions that could be violative of the Supreme Court decision and some of the New York State decisions. So we took a look at that, and we've made certain amendments. I don't know if it's perfect, but I think the law is a lot better in terms of being content neutral than it was before, and that's what the purpose of this local law is. And we also have one other tweak that's included in this local law with regard to the placement of signs.
well, and what we're doing is
What was the one,
we're reducing the requirement to for all signs to come into conformity.
Right,
We're eliminating.
We're
this.
eliminating the
All legal signs.
amortization provision, and we also made one other.
It's just to clarify that it's one freestanding sign.
One freestanding sign.
Yeah.
But the amortization, I think, is important, and it's not, I mean, when buildings are being worked on or having new site plans or replacing signs, they would have to come into compliance, but if they're not doing any work otherwise on the site or on the sign, then they can keep the signs they have. Is that
As long
essentially
as
it?
they were as long as they were legal.
Legally enacted in the
Legally
first
enacted,
place.
because there are signs that people have erected that were not done
Right.
in compliance with the law at that time, and they didn't go through the permit process, so those would not be grandfathered.
Those would still be in
But
violation.
ones that were legal when they were put
Yeah.
up, I mean, it's something that the Chamber of Commerce and the business
Yep.
community
asking.
was,
Yeah,
For a long time.
for a long time, so, we realize that a lot of businesses struggle to make ends meet and really didn't want to have to, spend funds on something that they already had. But, you know, as Emily said, when they do apply to update their site or upgrade their signs, at that point, they'll come into compliance.
Right.
So we're.
Seemed like a good compromise.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
And we don't have to kick it down the road every 2 years.
So when are we scheduling the public?
Yeah, have we?
Yeah, we have to fill that in. 'cause
That
it's
we
a
did not fill in.
You know,
We have June 4th or the 18th?
do you want to do that June 4th?
Yeah, I think June 4th is fine,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Is that enough time, Donna?
Just,
Okay,
Do you need a public hearing notice for me?
that one I do need.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
so June 4th for that public hearing,
7:05,
sure.
and we need to vote on that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have a second? We did?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what time?
7:05?
7 o'clock? Okay.
And is that it? Yes, so I did neglect to ask for a vote on the minutes from May 7th, so may I have a motion to accept those?
Make a motion?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so I hope to see everyone on Memorial Day and make sure it's nice out, okay?
To adjourn.
And may I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
And
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. Still wrap it up.